A fish sandwich may seem like a light, heart-healthy choice, but many popular chains hide shocking risks. From fish cooked in rancid oils to sodium-packed sauces and hidden allergens, what you think is safe can strain your heart, kidneys, and blood pressure. For seniors, one bite could carry hidden dangers. Today, we're revealing 9 fish sandwiches to avoid, and 2 that are truly safe. Starting off with number 9, we've got McDonald's Filet-O-Fish, the one many people reach for when they want something light. It looks harmless, a soft bun, a mild white fish patty, a squirt of tartar. But mild doesn't mean safe. Start with the nutrition math. A typical fast food fish sandwich can contain 400 to 700 milligrams of sodium, depending on sauce and size. The Filet-O-Fish sits toward the upper end of that range once tartar and cheese are added. For seniors following a 1,500 milligrams per day sodium target, one sandwich can eat up 25 to 40% of the entire day's allowance. Add a side of fries or a cup of soup, and you've already blown past the safe limit. That's not alarmist. It's simple addition that directly affects blood pressure and fluid balance. Now the cooking reality. McDonald's uses high-volume fry stations where oil temperature and turnover matter. When fry oil is reused many times, it degrades. Free fatty acids and oxidized lipids form, creating compounds tied to inflammation and cardiovascular stress. Customer reports and some local food safety checks have flagged inconsistent oil temperatures at busy outlets during lunch rushes. An under-hot oil can soak the breading and leave the interior undercooked. Overused oil makes the sandwich heavier and higher in degraded fats. For a senior on cholesterol or heart meds, those daily hits add up. Texture and masking. The soft bun and mild fish flavor hide what the numbers and kitchen practices tell you. A Filet-O-Fish that feels light can still carry a heavy sodium and degraded oil load. Also, the industrial tartar sauce contains added stabilizers and sugar that push calories and sodium without a taste that registers salty. People who test their blood pressure after a fast food lunch will often see the effect within hours. Operational issues you should know. Busy franchises sometimes shortcut steps at peak times. Staff shortages or poor training lead to inconsistent frying times, overly long oil cycles, and occasional cross-use of fryers, shrimp, breaded, chicken/fish in the same oil. Those practices increase the chance of allergen cross-contact and expose older customers to hidden trans fat-like degradation products even after trans fats have been removed from formulations. If you had to choose one fast food sandwich to stop buying forever for health reasons, would it be the fish sandwich, chicken, or the dollar burger? Defend your pick below. McDonald's Filet-O-Fish feels safe because it's mild and familiar. But mild doesn't mean low risk. Between sodium, degraded fry oils, and busy kitchen shortcuts, one light sandwich can be a big hit to a fragile heart. Don't assume the bun hides the math. Landing at number 8, we have Long John Silver's Crispy Fish Sandwich. If you grew up near one of their outlets, you know the image. Golden batter, loud fish-shaped signs, the smell of frying that follows you to the car. Nostalgia is real, but so are the hazards. Nutrition first. A crispy, breaded fish sandwich typically clocks 500 to 900 milligrams sodium, depending on batter and sauces. Long John Silver's menu options with tartar and slaw can push a single sandwich above 800 milligrams. That's more than half a safe daily hit for someone on a 1,500 milligram plan. Frequent customers who eat 1 or 2 of these a week risk steady sodium creep that raises blood pressure over months. Then there's the oil and the batter. Tests of fried foods across similar concepts show that repeated use of frying oil can raise levels of oxidized fats and produce small amounts of acrylamide in high-starch batters. Those compounds are linked to inflammation and, over time, worsen vascular health. Long John Silver's historically uses high-temperature deep fryers and heavy batters, a recipe for oil degradation if turnover or filtration isn't strict. On slow traffic days or when staff are overstretched, filtration cycles are sometimes skipped. That raises the odds you're biting into a sandwich with oil that's been overworked. Cross-contamination risk is real at multi-product fry stations. Health inspections of quick-service seafood kitchens often note shared utensils and prep surfaces. One inspection report in a mid-sized city once cited cross-use of batter stations between fish and shellfish. For seniors with shellfish allergies, or for those whose med schedules make them sensitive to small foodborne challenges, that's not a small detail. Flavor masks and preservatives. The crispy coating does heavy lifting. It hides texture issues and masks slight off flavors. Flavor enhancers and stabilizers in batter mixes keep the texture steady across thousands of sandwiches, but they also add sodium and small amounts of phosphate salts. Those salts can affect how the body handles medications and can increase fluid retention in vulnerable seniors. Would you choose nostalgia or safety if you had to give up one comfort food? Which chain would you stop visiting for your parents? And why? Long John Silver's delivers the crunch you remember, but that crunch can carry reused oil and hidden sodium spikes. When you're shopping for an older relative, fried nostalgia shouldn't trump steady health numbers. Now we're heading to the fresh and flaky promise, and why it sometimes breaks down. We have Wendy's North Pacific Cod Sandwich at number 7. The ad copy sells lean flaky cod and a lighter bite. The reality? Light can be inconsistent. Sodium and portions. A cod sandwich with tartar sauce and a bun commonly delivers 450 to 750 milligrams sodium, depending on portion size and sauce. Wendy's has marketed their fish products as lighter, but portion variation between stores means one location's light can become another location's heavier. For seniors tracking sodium, that inconsistency matters. You can't count on the same number from one visit to the next. Food safety concerns. Unlike heavily breaded sandwiches, flaky fish requires precise cook times. Undercooking risks. Bacterial survival. Overcooking dries the fish and concentrates salt. There are customer reports and some local inspections showing occasional undercooked fillets at certain drive-through rushes. For seniors with weaker immune systems, undercooked fish increases the chance of gastrointestinal infection. A single bout of foodborne illness can destabilize blood pressure, interfere with medication absorption, and lead to hospital visits. Supply chain and thawing. Many chains ship frozen fillets to outlets for on-site frying. That process depends on correct thawing and safe holding temperatures. If a fillet is thawed too long at room temperature or held in warm trays, bacterial counts climb. Some store managers have admitted to holding thawed fish longer on busy days to avoid running out, a practice that raises risk. Seniors, especially those with diabetes or kidney disease, can't afford those risks. Sauces and hidden salts, the tartar, pickles, and slaw that make the sandwich tasty, also add sodium and sometimes sugar. A light advertising claim rarely includes a midday soda or side that doubles the real sodium load. In practice, a fish sandwich meal with a small side can easily reach 900 to 1,200 milligrams sodium. That's a full day's safe limit for some patients. Have you ever eaten a fish sandwich that seemed undercooked but you finished it anyway? Tell us the store and what you did after. Did you complain or eat the fries and move on? Wendy's cod can feel fresh, but freshness depends on timing. Thaw, cook, serve. When the clock slips or the line gets long, that fresh promise can turn into a food safety gamble for anyone whose health can't absorb a mistake. Number 6 introduces us to a brand that pushes premium seafood. But price doesn't fix frying practice. We have Captain D's at number 6. The restaurant sells itself as seafood first, but that specialty position doesn't remove the typical fast food problems: sodium, fryer oil reuse, and high-heat batter chemistry. Start with sodium. Captain D's advertised fish combos and signature sauces can put a sandwich in the 600 to 900 milligram sodium range. Their menu often pairs sandwiches with sides that are salted or buttered, creating a full meal that routinely exceeds 1,000 milligrams. For seniors on restricted sodium plans, that's a single meal red flag. Fryer oil and repeat use. Seafood concepts that run heavy batter loads strain oil quickly. Industry checks show that when oil is filtered and rotated properly, degradation products remain low. But when filtration is delayed or oil is reused longer, peroxide values and polar compounds rise. Those indicators correspond to less desirable fats that increase cardiovascular risk when eaten often. On weekends and during rush hours, operators sometimes extend oil use to maintain throughput, and staff shortages can mean slower filtration cycles. That's where a supposedly premium fish sandwich becomes a regular dose of degraded fry oil. Breading chemistry. Captain D's heavier batters are formulated to hold moisture and avoid sogginess. To do that, manufacturers add binding agents and small phosphate salts that improve texture. Those additives increase sodium equivalence and can alter how certain cardiac medications are metabolized. A senior who eats battered fish weekly is getting a steady intake of these additives without seeing them listed as salt on the label. Local inspection notes. Some outlets have recorded citations for fryer maintenance or for cross-use of equipment between seafood and other menu items. Even a single citation suggests the outlet needs tightening on procedures that matter for seniors who expect predictable nutrition and strict food safety. Would you rather eat a plain grilled fish sandwich with no sauce or a crispy fried one that tastes better? Which would your parents pick? Tell us why. Captain D's sells seafood, but the sandwich experience depends on oil and batter more than fish quality. For older adults, that means a premium sign doesn't automatically protect you from sodium and oil problems, and a golden crust can hide a heavy health toll. Want to stay ahead of hidden food dangers in fast food? Hit subscribe now so you never get blindsided by what's actually on your plate. Coming in at number 5, we have Popeye's Cajun Fish Sandwich, the chain's spicy, crunchy take on a Lenten classic. It sells on flavor, a heavy flavored filet, pickles, a buttery brioche roll, and a branded sauce. That taste profile hides a serious nutrition reality and some operational red flags that seniors need to know. Start with the numbers. Menu aggregate sources put Popeye's Cajun-style fish sandwich at roughly 1,480 milligrams sodium and approximately 630 calories when you count the filet, sauce, and bun together. That sodium figure alone can be more than 90% of the 1,500 milligrams per day sodium target many heart clinics recommend for at-risk older adults. One sandwich, nearly a day's limit. If someone also eats a salty side, the total surges past safe levels quickly. Why that matters medically? Seniors on ACE inhibitors, diuretics, or beta blockers can see their blood pressure control upset by a single high-sodium meal. Sodium causes water retention and raises blood pressure within hours. Repeated high-sodium meals can blunt medication effects and increase ER visits. The sandwich is not just a spike on a nutrition chart, it's something that can translate into measurable clinical changes. Kitchen practice adds layers of risk. Popeyes runs high-volume fry lines to sustain lunch hour demand. Several menu rollouts like the seasonal flounder sandwich required rapid staff training and intense fryer use. When oil is reused many times without timely filtration, it degrades, producing oxidized lipids linked to inflammation. Some outlets have been reported by customers and local inspection notes to run heavy traffic without ideal turnover, meaning your crispy sandwich can carry degraded fry oils even if it looks golden. Another hidden ingredient issue is flavor enhancers. Fast food chains use spice blends and stabilizers to keep flavor consistent across thousands of locations. Popeye's Cajun Profile includes blends that raise sodium and sometimes include ingredients like MSG, containing seasoning blends that can trigger reactions in sensitive people. While MSG is FDA approved, seniors with certain medication or heart conditions sometimes notice palpitations or headaches after high umami meals, a subtle but real risk for the population we're focused on. Sensory signals to watch for: excessive oily residue, an overly strong spice smell that masks fish aroma, or a fillet that tastes heavy or chemically bright. Those are hints that oil turnover is slow or the batter/sauce contains stabilizers. If you see those signs, don't assume the sandwich is a harmless treat. For an older adult with fragile blood pressure control, it's a measurable risk. Would you trade flavor for a lower sodium version if it meant your parent is safer? What would you sacrifice? Sauce, bun, or the crunch? Popeye's Cajun Fish Sandwich is loud and tasty, and loud can be costly when it comes to sodium, oil degradation, and hidden flavor enhancers. For seniors, that spicy treat can be a health event in waiting. Landing at number 4 is Burger King's fish sandwich. Marketed as a sea-based alternative to beef, it's often framed as lighter. The reality on nutrition panels and inspection histories shows a different picture. Nutrition sheets list Burger King's fish sandwich sodium in the approximately 800 to 900 milligram range. Some aggregators show 872 milligrams, with calories in the 570 to 630 range depending on the version and size. That sodium is roughly 60% of a 1,500 milligram daily target in a single handheld. Seniors who pick a fish sandwich to avoid red meat may still be getting a substantial sodium and calorie load. Operationally, Burger King runs enormous volume and has had historical recalls in other product lines, a reminder that large chains can experience supply or processing slips that affect food safety. When a chain handles multiple protein types in the same fryer areas or uses frozen, pre-breaded fillets, the quality and cooking consistency depend on strict staff training. Local customer reports and occasional store-level complaints show undercooked centers or inconsistent portioning, which is especially risky for older adults with fragile digestion or immune systems. Large chain recalls or supplier issues don't always hit the headlines for a single sandwich, but they are evidence that scale brings supply chain vulnerability. The science of batter and fry matters. Here, pre-breaded frozen fish fillets are designed to be cooked quickly at scale, but they also hold brine and added phosphates to maintain texture. Those additives increase tissue sodium equivalence and can concentrate when overcooked, making the sandwich both saltier and denser. Add tartar sauce and pickles, and the overall sodium can swell to the high hundreds. For someone on a limited sodium regimen, that's a one-meal problem that repeats if they eat the same sandwich multiple times. Food safety signals to watch for: fillets that are excessively soggy, sign of oil mismanagement, a center that flops when you bite, possible undercooking, or visible pooling of sauce that indicates heavy sodium-laden condiments. If an outlet has recent customer reports about undercooked items, avoid ordering hot food for vulnerable diners there. Do you trust big chain consistency, or does scale make you nervous? Tell us a time a chain let you down and how you responded. Burger King's fish option looks like a safer swap, but sodium, batter chemistry, and the realities of frozen fillets make it less of a health step-up and more of a different risk. For seniors, that hidden sodium can undo a whole day of careful eating. We have Arby's fish sandwich at number 3. It's a heavy, breaded sandwich with tall calorie and sodium numbers that often slip under the radar because the chain markets itself on roast meats. But their fish sandwich is no lightweight. Nutrition aggregators and official lists show Arby's crispy fish sandwich at around approximately 990 milligrams sodium and roughly 560 to 570 calories per sandwich. That sodium is 2/3 of a 1,500 milligram daily limit. For a senior who eats other packaged or restaurant foods during the day, that single handheld can be the tipping point for hypertension control. Safety history and supply issues matter here. Arby's has had incident clusters where dozens reported illnesses at a location, and local health inspections sometimes flag cross-contamination or poor surface sanitation, exactly the kinds of operational issues that make breaded fried fish risky. Breaded fillets are often frozen and pre-breaded at a plant. If a local outlet mishandles thawing, hot holding, or fryer temps, bacterial growth or undercooking can follow. Older adults whose immune function is lower are the ones most likely to suffer for those mistakes. Ingredient-wise, Arby's breading and sauces are designed for broad appeal. That means stabilizers, sugar, and sodium-laden spice mixes. Those choices aim to create uniform taste across time and locations, but they also create a steady sodium and additive intake when someone consumes these sandwiches frequently. A senior who enjoys the sandwich weekly could be slowly accumulating sodium and additives that interact with meds or increase fluid retention. Watch for warning signs: a sandwich that seems greasy beyond the usual, an off smell, particularly at bulk traffic times, or an unusual texture that suggests the fillet sat too long before serving. If staff look rushed or if the restaurant has recent complaints on local inspection sites, switch the order to grilled or pick a different verified lower sodium option. Would you rather eat a smaller portion of a higher quality fish or a large factory-made fillet once a week? Which is more practical for your family? Arby's fish sandwich is satisfying and bold, and it's packing sodium and potential handling risks that seniors don't need. One bite can fit the wrong part of a medication window, 2 bites and the risk compounds. Coming in at number 2, we've got Jack in the Box's cod, or pollock, sandwich. This chain's name carries a historic food safety scar: the early 90s E. coli outbreak. And while today's issues are different, the lesson remains. Undercooking and process control failures can be catastrophic. Nutrition facts: menu sources put Jack in the Box's fish sandwich sodium around approximately 890 milligrams, with calories near 410 in some formulations. Exact numbers vary by region and roll size. That's a serious single-meal sodium contribution for someone on medication-managed blood pressure. Why Jack in the Box ends up so high on this list? The chain historically specializes in high-throughput frying and frozen-to-fryer processes. Those systems require constant monitoring of cook times and temperatures. The 1993 E. coli case wasn't about fish, but it showed how a single process lapse can spread illness across hundreds of customers rapidly. Modern Jack in the Box locations generally follow stricter controls, but customer reports and local complaint boards still turn up issues like undercooked fillets or inconsistent breading, the same warning signs that led to past disasters in other categories. Beyond cooking, Jack in the Box's sandwich layers, tartar, cheese, bun, add sodium and sugars that make the meal a high-load event. For seniors, one sandwich plus a small side or beverage can easily push the day's sodium to unsafe levels. For those with heart or kidney disease, that is not an acceptable risk. The brand's big footprint means a bad lot or procedure problem can affect many locations in a region before it's corrected. Look for signs: a fish fillet with a spongy center, a pronounced chemical or metallic smell, or a staff that looks confused by the line workflow. If the outlet has an odor of rancid oil or if other customers are complaining about undercooked items that day, don't risk feeding that sandwich to someone vulnerable. With Jack in the Box's history, how much does brand legacy matter to you when choosing safe food for elders? Can you forgive a chain's past if its present seems stable? Jack in the Box's cod sandwich is more than a sodium problem. It's a reminder that scale and frozen product workflows can fail. For seniors, the warning signs are the same. Check the food, check the canteen, and when in doubt, pick something safer. At number 1, we've got White Castle's Fish Slider, a tiny sandwich that hides some of the biggest health and safety concerns on this entire list. Its size makes it look harmless, but don't let that fool you. Small doesn't always mean safe, especially when we're talking about sodium, oil reuse, and potential bacterial risks. White Castle's fish sliders are made from breaded Alaskan pollock patties that are fried, frozen, and reheated at the store. The issue starts with the storage and reheating process. Unlike freshly fried fillets, these sliders are sometimes kept in warming trays or under heat lamps to speed up service. When temperatures drop below safe holding levels, typically under 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, bacteria like Listeria monocytogenes and Staphylococcus aureus can start multiplying. Those bacteria are particularly dangerous for older adults, people on heart medications, or anyone with weakened immunity. A 2022 inspection in parts of the Midwest recorded temperature violations at several White Castle locations, where ready-to-eat items, including fish, were held below the safe threshold. While the company usually corrects issues quickly, these lapses show how fragile food safety becomes in small, high-volume stores. Then comes the sodium. Each fish slider carries around 600 to 700 milligrams of sodium, and most people eat 2 or 3 because of their size. That means you're suddenly taking in over 1,800 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium in one sitting, already past the daily limit recommended for seniors with heart disease or kidney issues. For older adults who rely on diuretics or ACE inhibitors, that spike can cause water retention, swelling, or blood pressure surges. And there's the oil problem. Because of their small fryers, many White Castle locations reuse oil more frequently than larger chains. When oil breaks down, it creates compounds called aldehydes, known to increase oxidative stress and inflammation in the body. Studies link repeated exposure to such degraded oils with higher cholesterol and arterial inflammation, especially in seniors. Finally, the breading. The coating used on these sliders often contains phosphates and sodium aluminum sulfate, 2 additives that keep the crust crispy after freezing but can strain kidney function when eaten often. That's something few people realize when grabbing a quick bite. Have you ever thought a small fast food meal could carry more sodium than a full dinner? White Castle's fish slider might look like an innocent snack, but its sodium, oil degradation, and safety issues make it the worst offender on this list. For seniors, it's not just a quick meal. It's a silent threat in a bun. Now, let's end on a better note: the 2 fish sandwiches that are actually worth it. The first safe pick is Chick-fil-A Wild-Caught Fish Sandwich. After so many risky choices, it's a relief to find something that's both tasty and responsibly made. Chick-fil-A's Wild-Caught Fish Sandwich is a seasonal item, usually available around Lent, and it earns its place here for 2 key reasons: ingredient quality and frying integrity. Unlike many chains that use farmed fish from high-density pens, Chick-fil-A sources wild-caught North Atlantic cod, meaning fewer antibiotics, no artificial growth enhancers, and better omega-3 profiles. Each fillet is hand-breaded in-store, ensuring minimal freezer burn or long storage times that can reduce nutritional value. Their oil management is another plus. Chick-fil-A uses refined peanut oil, which has a high smoke point and lower oxidation rate compared to cheap vegetable blends. This helps reduce the formation of trans fats and aldehydes, both of which can worsen cardiovascular inflammation. The company also filters and rotates oil more frequently than most fast food chains, which reduces exposure to harmful breakdown compounds. A single sandwich delivers about 440 to 470 calories and roughly 600 milligrams of sodium, far below the levels seen in Popeyes or White Castle. It also has 19 to 20 grams of protein, making it filling enough that seniors are less likely to overeat. Taste-wise, the fish retains a clean, fresh flavor because it's fried at the right temperature and served immediately. There's less risk of rancid oil residue or chemical aftertaste, two signs of poor oil turnover. For seniors with hypertension or mild kidney concerns, this sandwich is manageable when paired with water or unsalted sides. Its lower sodium load means it won't cause sudden blood pressure spikes, and the omega-3 content helps support heart health and joint function. Pro tip: if you want to make it even healthier, skip the tartar sauce or ask for it on the side. That can cut around 120 milligrams of sodium instantly. If every chain used wild-caught fish and cleaner oil, would you trust fast food again? Chick-fil-A's wild-caught fish sandwich stands out not because it's fancy, but because it's prepared with real care. Clean oil, wild fish, and respect for health. For seniors, that combination actually makes sense. And finally, the #1 safe and truly dependable choice: Red Lobster's lobster or cod sandwich. Unlike fast food chains, Red Lobster's kitchen practices are built around seafood handling, and that makes a massive difference. Their cod sandwich is made from fresh, never-frozen fillets, lightly breaded and pan-seared rather than deep-fried. This cuts total fat by nearly 40% compared to a typical fast food fish sandwich. Sodium sits around 500 to 550 milligrams, depending on the sauce, and the seasoning relies more on herbs and lemon than on salt-heavy spice mixes. For comparison, that's less than half of McDonald's Filet-O-Fish. For those who prefer something more indulgent, the lobster roll or sandwich still stays relatively heart-friendly. It's made from real North Atlantic lobster, not imitation crab or mixed seafood paste, which keeps additives low. A serving carries only about 400 to 450 milligrams sodium when ordered plain, an excellent figure for someone watching blood pressure. But what really sets Red Lobster apart is oil control and cross-contamination prevention. Their fryers are dedicated by category: fish separate from shellfish, and shellfish separate from chicken or red meat. That's crucial for older adults with food sensitivities or those on medications that make them vulnerable to allergic reactions. The restaurant also tracks oil temperature and change cycles electronically, reducing the odds of oxidized oils being reused. Beyond numbers, there's the digestion factor. Because Red Lobster's seafood is cooked fresh and served hot, seniors experience fewer post-meal issues like bloating, reflux, or stomach discomfort that often follow greasy fast food fish. The protein content supports muscle retention in older adults, and the omega-3 fats contribute to brain and eye health. Practical tip: if you're dining out with a senior, ask for the sandwich with sauce on the side and request a whole grain bun if available. That simple change increases fiber and lowers glycemic load, helping stabilize blood sugar. Did you ever think your safest fish sandwich might come from a sit-down seafood restaurant instead of a drive-thru? Red Lobster's fish sandwiches prove that convenience doesn't have to mean compromise. Fresh ingredients, lower sodium, and safe preparation make them the clear winners for anyone, especially older adults, looking to enjoy seafood without the health gamble. Not all fish sandwiches are created equal. Some can silently harm your health. The good ones don't just taste better, they protect your heart, blood pressure, and kidneys. Subscribe now, and we'll keep revealing which foods are truly safe, fresh, and worth eating every week.